Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you all very much for the beautiful chanting. Let's continue reading from the Japa book by His Grace Bhurujana Prabhu. We are on the 19th chapter, going through the question and answers. There are a few more questions to cover this chapter. Let's see the question for today. Using the one mantra technique is harder when walking while chanting japa. The mind so easily wanders and is distracted by the place where I am walking. Do you have any advice on how to chant attentively while taking a japa walk? Answer. It is undoubtedly difficult to control the mind, but chanting japa means to listen to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We have to accept this definition and work with it if we wish to chant effortlessly. So, repeatedly, several times, we have learned the one very important technique to make our chanting better is to hear to the sound vibration of what we are chanting. Pramadha, inattention to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is an offense. If we were talking a walk, if we are taking a walk with Prabhupada, who would be at the center of the, if we were taking a walk with Prabhupada, who would be at the center of the walk? If we were to say in Prabhupada's presence, look at how beautiful these daffodils, I don't know what that is, daffodils are. Look at the green hills and the fluffy white cloud being driven by the wind. Let me see what's over here. He would consider us sightseers rather than serious spiritual aspirants. And neither would there be any value to our having been with Prabhupada. Similarly, if we wish to admire the beauty of the area where we are walking, then we can go on parikrama. But going on a japa walk means going out with the understanding that we are chanting the holy name and all our attention should be fixed on that. So it's not like I'm going to take a walk and start admiring the creation of Krishna, how beautiful these things are, right? So again, unless we understand the technique of chanting attentive japa and become determined enough to follow it, then whether we are walking or sitting, we will not be able to pay attention. We are accustomed to touring the universe while we chant japa. We are free to continue our touring, but if we wish to chant and attain the promised results, we must chant attentively. I have also noted that sadhus in Vrindavan who are in an internal and introspective mood or who are chanting seriously while walking tend to look solely at the ground directly in front of them as as they walk looking at the ground in front of them as they walk. This practice helps them focus their thoughts and also informs others to allow them their privacy. Downcast eyes serve as a sort of non-verbal do not disturb sign. In my opinion, offering chanters this type of respect would be a positive addition to our ISKCON culture. So that's the nice answer if we are going on Japa walk. Basically, Japa walk is not to um, start looking outside, but to start listening to the chanting. Whether you are outside or inside, wherever we are, we have to start attentively hearing the chanting. We can go for another question. While is anyone have any questions on this? Okay. While chanting the Maha Mantra, my mind becomes like a vacuum and I don't know what to do with it. So I tend to look for things to stimulate me. This, of course, hampers or even halts my concentration. What should I do? Answer. Everything negative can become positive if we are conscious. Actually, it is our duty to make them positive. If we have no taste for the holy name, if our heart and mind are empty when we chant, or if we find ourselves absorbed in material desires, then we should take these problems to the holy name and to worshipable deities and use the negative to serve the positive. The devotees, especially when how do we gauge ourselves we are maturing in Krishna consciousness, is this one small thing that has been mentioned here. That is, everything negative can become positive if we are conscious. That means it just depends on individual personality in Krishna consciousness. They can see a negative thing in their life and keep on cribbing about it, complaining about it, and complain about it, and things like that. Whereas other category of person takes the negative and try to see how we can work, make that negative into positive. Something I'm challenges that I have in my life. Well, this makes me much. This is very good. This took place because all this while I was not serious in Krishna consciousness. Now Krishna is helping me to become serious. Therefore, some negative things appears to be negative things happening in my life. Therefore, let me make this negative as I use, change it to positive, where I can get closer to Krishna. So that is where our practices and seniority speaks in Krishna consciousness. Not the 20 years, 25, 30 years, 40 years, even to say I am direct disciple of Prabhupada. None of this really makes a person senior. Not to say that we don't respect that aspect. We have to respect the age. We have to respect the seniority. We have to respect all. If someone is Prabhupada disciple, we have to respect. Not that I want to test you, Prabhuji, before I respect you. That's not what I'm trying to say. But internally, we should think. Not that we judge others. Internally, this is all for us to internally think where we stand in our Krishna consciousness. So the true Krishna consciousness and maturity is where when we see the negativity as an opportunity to get closer to Krishna. There's there's one devotee who's adopted and brought up. Her name is Janabai, a very simple girl who doesn't know her background herself. She was orphan. One fine day, she was standing in front of uh, Panduranga, Vithala, and then she was just Abhangam. And there's in Maharashtra, Abhangas are like poetry, as two-liner, few liners, where they sing beautiful songs in a local language, Marathi. So she was singing nice abhangams. She did not go to school, was not educated, nothing. But she was singing beautifully some abhangams. And then Namadeva was there, got captivated by this small girl, and who doesn't have any home to live, or parents, or none of these relatives, nothing. Then Ramdev Bhaidev was a Grehastha. He was so much attracted to this young, rich and small girl, and he accepted her as was his own daughter and brought her home and introduced to her parents. And she was growing up there in Namadev's house, and she was cleaning the pots and helping in cooking and washing the clothes, etc. She was just living there. I'm skipping to the point and coming to the main point here. One fine day, Krishna himself, Krishna often come to Namdeva's house also. This is quite interesting. We all go to the temple to pray to Krishna. Whereas Panduranga is quite little different, where he comes to the devotee's house and he comes often to Namadeva's house and he spend time with the family member. Can you just imagine Krishna is coming to our house and knocking our door? Hey, come! I came here for spending some time with your daughter, with your children, with your family to have some dinner. What do you have? So it was casual occasion for Namadev's family to have Krishna coming to their house and chit chat and do all sort of things. And at that point of time, Janabai was the one who was serving everyone, including Krishna, was being served. And in her heart, she never felt like this, but she that day she felt that how fortunate that would be to sit and eat with Krishna. She was thinking like that, but she continued her service. And everyone went to bed. Krishna also stayed that night at their house, and everyone was sleeping. But Janabai was in her room thinking about Krishna, how fortunate to have Krishna, and so forth. And someone came and tapped her back, and she turned. It was Krishna standing right there, and she got shocked. Krishna, what are you doing here? You should go and sleep there. No, I want to spend some time. I'm very hungry actually. I did not eat well. I'm very hungry. Do you have something for me to eat? And Janabaya saved that plate where Krishna was being offered, but Krishna did not take anything. She kept that plate. So she brought her, Krishna, it's here, it's your plate, you didn't finish it. Why don't you eat? And Krishna sat and started eating and said, you should also eat. And Janabai said, how can I eat? I have to say, no, no, I want you to also eat. So Janabai also ate from the same plate. And both of them are eating from the same plate. And they were talking together and laughing together. And at the end, Krishna said, I will sleep with you here in your bedroom. And then Janabai was sleeping on Krishna's hand over here. Um, and Krishna was sleeping on our side. And they were sleeping. It was time for Mangalarti. And before that, Janabai got up and he was walking out. At the time, Krishna pulled her and said, where are you going, Jana? And then she said, I have to do my duties. I have to clean the house. It's morning time. I have to clean the house, get the things ready for my father, for his puja, and get the kitchen ready. I have to do, well, I am here. What is important for you? Being with me or going and doing what you said just now? And Janabai gave a beautiful answer. She said that, my dear Krishna, Vithala, the reason you like me is because I'm serving your devotees. Otherwise, you won't be spending time with me like this. Just the reason you like me is because I'm serving your servants. Therefore, you came and spent time with me. Therefore, I have to continue whatever the case may be. Even if it's your personal association, for me, the preference is to serve the devotees. Let me take care of that one first, Krishna. And she went. Krishna and then left the house and he stood and went and stood on his post like keeping his hands on his waist and ready to accept the worship, Mangalarti worship. But then what happened is interesting thing. That night, Krishna decorated Janabai with his own ornaments, earring, necklace, bangles, everything. When Krishna rushed and when she rushed, both of them forgot she forgot to return back the jewelry to Panduranga, and Panduranga also forgot. Don't ask me how can God forget. This is you have to understand this bhava. He also forgot to take the jewelry from Jana. He went back. When the Mangalarti time, when the priest pandas, when they opened the door, they were shocked to see that the deities were without earring, without bangles, without necklace. That all these things, dresses were not proper. So they didn't understand what happened. And they were internally discussing, I know what happened. This girl, every time she comes here, yesterday also she came, and she, in the name of doing service to the temple and cleaning the place and everything, I think she had an eye on Panduranga's jewelry. She must have taken. Who's that girl? Jana. Jana. So this news went to king of that time, and immediately king said, without any further investigation, you have to give her a serious punishment. Those days, there's a serious punishment if you steal things from the temple, right? You'll be put raised on a sharp spear, and you'll be put on that one until you die. You have to suffer the pain, and people will be walking through and mock at you and laugh at you for the sin that you've done. But they laugh at you, and eventually that person will die. So Jana was taken out of the house and by the soldiers, and she was taken there. And while she was going there, she was smiling and happy. That's a point. The everything negative can become positive if we are conscious. Very important point. She took this as an opportunity to see this. This is all Krishna's Leela. And I'm very happy that Krishna used me to bring pleasure for him for his Leela. And that is the mood that she carried. She was not thinking, "Oh my God, last night it was so nice. And look at this morning, life is miserable, right? I wish my day was every day like last night with Krishna all the time." We also have the same thing sometimes. Sometimes our chanting is so nice as if we are Haridas Thakur. Sometimes our chanting is so bad. Right? Sometimes our service mood is so nice that as if we are Ananta Sesh, but then sometimes we don't want to take up any services. Sometimes we talk to the devotees very sweet, humble, nice way. Sometimes we even forget to say Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji. We'll just go walk away because we are not happy with something. That's our situation. Whereas Janabai was thinking that this is an opportunity. This is this is a great thing that I've been used as an instrument in Krishna's pastime where I can give pleasure to Krishna. One thing that we should know, another few more minutes will end. We are not finished the second question, but I just triggered this thought in me. One thing we should know that a question that we should ask ourselves that we often say that Krishna is putting me under test. We also always say that Krishna is testing me. I was yesterday driving on thinking of some situation, something, and this thought came into my mind. Who tests us? We go to school, the teacher tests us. Why does the teacher, the professor, the lecturer test us? What's the purpose we have to be tested? Number of reasons, right? You all know, we all went through schools. Number of reasons. First thing is, simple thing is that we did our studies well. To make sure we studied what has been taught is been tested. I can't just go and tell the teacher that I don't need a test. I studied everything. Thank you, teacher. Teacher is going to, well, it's common. Test is common. You have to go through this test. Even if you have studied, you have to go through the test. And also to make sure that we have learned the subject well. How much we learned the subject well. Therefore, the test has been given. The test has been given to also, these are the main reasons. But then the other thing is nowadays the test is to prove yourself you're better than the other by your good grades and ranks and so forth. So those are all later part. But the thing is to make sure that have you studied or not the subject matter, right? The question is the teachers of this world definitely have to test us, but the teacher of this entire universe, Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Krishna, the Guru of everyone. Does Krishna, doesn't Krishna know whether I know or I don't know? Whether I studied or I didn't study? Whether I matured or not matured? Whether I'm practicing or not practicing? Does Krishna has to put us in a situation to test us to know whether I'm matured or not? Is a real question to be asked. to ourselves. But yes, for those who are matured in Krishna consciousness, for them, they don't see this as Krishna testing me. They see that Krishna is performing some pastime, is enjoying me, keeping me as an instrument that gives pleasure to him. That's how the great soul thinks. But people like us, we think that Krishna is testing me, putting me into the test. But in reality, that is not bad. That creates some sort of a seriousness in our life. But the fact is that he doesn't really have to test us. He doesn't have to test us. He knows everything, whether this guy is even testable, qualified to even to be tested or not to be tested. But the intensity of our dependency towards Krishna is what we have to take at a time the adversity happens in our life and situations happens in our life. And we don't need to take that as a Krishna's testing me. It's a sincere, heartfelt feeling of that individual devotee to feel this is not Krishna's test. This is a circumstance and negative what the things is happening in my life, so I can become more dependent on Krishna. Krishna doesn't have to test us to see how much you are dedicated to me, how much you are sincere to me. He knows in and out of our conscious, ourselves. Even before the thought gets out of our heart, the very first person who knows what we are thinking, what we are planning to speak, what we are planning to do is Krishna. Krishna is right there, sitting right next to our self. And he knows this is what he's going to speak, this is what he's going to think. He knows. Then what's the point of he testing us? So for us, we have to understand that yes, we can say that for our own sake, I've been put into the test. But the fact is that this is more than test. It is for us to become more serious. That here is an opportunity, so-called from the eyes of material world, is a negative thing. But I take this as a positive thing to turn it around to get closer to Krishna. If you don't mind, let me quickly finish this one. 3 more minutes. I'm sorry. Everything negative can become positive if we are conscious. Actually, it is our duty to make them positive. If we have no taste for I'm sorry, I have not finished the story. So Janabai was taken right to the spot where she's going to be stuck into the spear. At that time, to everyone's surprise, the weapon that has been put, that the setup where it's been set there, it burned into ashes in front of everyone's eyes, proving that Janabai is not a thief. She didn't do anything. Everyone then fell at feet of understood the glories of Janabai, and the king himself uh, fell at the feet of Janabai and asked for forgiveness. So let's continue here. If you have no taste for the holy name, if our heart and mind are empty when we chant, or if we find ourselves absorbed in material desires, then we should take these problems to the holy name and to our worshipable deities and use the negative to serve the positive. This is what exactly the point is. The stronger the negative pole of a magnet is, the more powerfully it can draw the positive. Right. Srila Prabhupada writes quotes, quoting Srila Jiva Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 270. Chanting the holy name is the chief means of attaining love of Godhead. This chanting or devotional service does not depend on any paraphernalia, nor on one having taken birth in a good family. By humility and meekness, one attracts the attention of Krishna. This has been highlighted in this book. By humility and meekness, one attracts the attention of Krishna. Krishna is not attracted by any other thing. These are the things: humility and meekness. It is the verdict of all the Vedas. Therefore, if one becomes very humble and meek, he can easily attain the lotus feet of Krishna in this age of Kali. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 4.71 purport emphasizes added. That point emphasizes means by humility and meekness one attracts the attention of Krishna. Couple of more paragraphs. Turn the vacuum, the material desire, the lack of taste into a prayer for help and take real shelter of the holy name. O Krishna, just look at my heart, my oh holy name. Look at my heart. It is empty, have no taste, I'm dependent on you as I take shelter of you in your holy names. Our hearts is not really empty to be. It's empty of Krishna consciousness, but is filled with so many of unnecessary things, desires, right? We have so much. We are overflowing in our heart. Our desires are overflowing. There's no space, but we keep on adding, adding, and adding, and adding, and adding. Therefore, oh Krishna, just look at my heart. Oh holy names, look at my heart. It is empty. I have no taste. I'm dependent on you as I take shelter of you in your holy names. It is good to go to the holy names empty and beg Krishna's name to fill you. Srila Prabhupada exemplified this mood at the end of the poem he wrote on his arrival in America. This is Prabhupada's words. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhakti Vedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhakti Vedanta. If you go to Krishna, last paragraph, if you go to Krishna in the mood of taking full shelter, understanding that you have no capacity on your own, then you have learned the art of spiritual life and can turn misfortune into fortune, powerlessness into power. If you go to Krishna in the mode of taking full shelter, Ananya Gatitvam, understanding that you have no capacity on your own, then you have learned the art of spiritual life and can turn misfortune into fortune, powerlessness into power. Today is Ekadeshi. Let's all carry on this mood of full surrender to Krishna with humility and meekness, understanding I don't have the capacity, and trying to utilize all our misfortunate situation in our life turn into fortunate situation with the help of the devotees, Guru and Krishna. Then we can find happiness at any given situation in our life. Thank you all very much. Wish you all a very happy Ekadeshi. Let's all meet tomorrow again at 5 a.m. Central. Thank you. Chant in Hare Krishna. Be happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.